Week 8, the first of our two 3,000 point onslaught game weeks, requires you to make sure that you change the map size to onslaught before beginning on the FTC map base. Begins with the final map from other authors, and the first week, where I had to slightly alter Doomed Fluffy's story arc, the narrative for the campaign. This was because of the lack of existence of biological ship internals maps, and the existence of one spaceship hangar bay map by Lockjaw that I expanded from a Strike Force size to an Onslaught size. I altered the narrative from both missions being about entering the bioship to one being an action to sabotage the enemy fleet's hangar bays before proceeding with your main mission in the bioship, which I created 3 Onslaught maps for. So, my slightly altered narrative for this week is the vessel, a biological construct with similarities to a Tyranid behemoth craft, yet clearly something else, is ripe for boarding pod and investigation, its external threats having been neutralized by your fleet. It is immense and must be destroyed from within or gained control of. As you prepare to board, you notice a hostile fleet in the area with expected similar intent. Most of your forces must delay them, while a small contingent begins the task of dealing with whatever lies on board the biological vessel, as well as this enemy fleet trying to stop you and learn its secrets for themselves. So the standard mission is Grand Assault, which is part of the core rulebook missions, so it's already in the FTC map base. To load it in. So the standard mission is Grand Assault. After rolling the attacker-defender deployment roll, the defender places the 8 objective markers more than 9 inches from table edges and more than 9 inches from other markers. Only 4 can be within the defender's deployment zone. The other 4 must be at least 3 inches from this deployment zone. All objectives are considered to be controlled by the defender until the attacker takes control of them. By completing this mission's action, the attacker can make it impossible for the defender to contest control of an objective for the rest of the game. This mission's action is done by one or more of the attacker's units moving in range, with no enemy units in range except aircraft, declaring this action at the end of the movement phase and completing it at the end of the attacker's turn. If successfully completed, the attacker has a banner raised and controls the objective for the rest of the game, even if the unit moves away or dies subsequently. Reiterating for clarity, one or more of the attacker's units can start the action in a turn as long as they are near different objective markers that the attacker's army does not already control. To secure this objective for the rest of the game if they complete the action successfully. At the end of each of the attacker's movement phases, they roll a dice for each unit that has been destroyed, on a 5+ for troops, and on a 6 for all other units. A unit arrives from strategic reserves rules that is identical to the unit destroyed, but without any crusade bonuses such as battle honors, scars, relics, or warlord traits. This unit, who is identical to your previously destroyed unit except for not being the same unit, so it doesn't have the battle stuff, crusade stuff, also does not stop that unit that got destroyed of yours from being required to roll out of action tests at the end of the game. 15 points is scored for each objective marker controlled at the end of the game. This week is also using the Perilous Jungle Theatre of War Infestation. As there are no woods in space, either discuss or roll a d6 to determine if you will make all the area terrain snare vines. Deadly Predators works as normal. Battlefield Twist, results of 3, will either be all area terrain or re-roll it, depending on what you and your opponent decided. The Mysterious Objective Markers will work as normal. If the noise from the welding spark effect is annoying you and giving you trouble, you can either try turning the sound off in-game or Alt-selecting and pressing delete. Oops, I delete all my flags there, that's fine. Replace it. Copy paste. And that will remove your sparking noise problem. Alright, that's everything for the standard mission this week. Moving on to the specialist mission, Dominate the Sector. This mission requires you to remove the objective markers from the FTC map base before loading it in, as it is a Beyond the Veil mission. I had to set up the deployment zones and the objective markers myself, as the FTC base does not yet have it included. For the specialist mission, for the snare vines and uncertain footing effect, I have added 5 area terrain circles to be considered of as woods for this mission. If you are not using them, simply delete by right-clicking, hitting the delete button, or selecting delete. The mission itself is a very straightforward mission. 10 victory points to a maximum of 30 per turn at the end of your turn for holding one objective. 10 points for holding more objectives than the opponent. And 10 points for taking an objective from your opponent that your opponent controlled at the beginning of the turn. There's also a bonus 5 points for each objective marker you control at the end of the game. This map that I built represents the bottom hangar bay of the biological ship we're investigating or trying to destroy. These are 2 chamber walls that go vertically higher, obviously lowered for the ease of interaction with the map. Small passages leading off of the biochamber, each end being a biological hangar bay entrance portal. We've been repairing since you breached them very rapidly. To show you exactly the scale we're looking at, so this would be the ship. We'd be entering somewhere in one of these hangar bays. So those would be the entrance points. From there we are trying to make our way through the ship. That concludes the week 8 video. Hope you all have good games.